might think of as the state-of-the-art installation that DIRECTV customers get today. We have 20 million customers in the U.S. About 8 million of our customers have this now, and it's growing by like 1 million every 3 or 4 months. And so it's extremely popular. It isn't just popular because of the swimsuit model ads or the Rob Lowe ads. It's actually popular because it's really cool and customers are all eager to get it. So it's a high-definition whole home DVR service. It's been available since 2012, and what it essentially consists of is just one box in the house taking care of all of the TV viewing in the house. So this one box here, this is the DIRECTV Genie. This happens to be an HR44. It's connected to the satellite. In this case, that's 9 floors up at the top of the building here. A satellite dish. The satellite dish is feeding this box, and it's also connected to the internet to provide augmented services as well. So this one box, let me start with this TV that was here at the Tech Center for some years now. It's connected to the box with the classic HDMI connection, which is the classic, pay TV, set-top box feeding a TV, a high-definition TV. And so I can use my DIRECTV remote control and do things like pause video, rewind it. Let's do some rewinding. All the normal features that you might expect. Oh, wait a second. Here we go. So you can go back and watch your favorite scene from The Price is Right. Bring up information. A list of what recordings you have. This is it looks like we're recording Godzilla now. Cool. And maybe others might be more interested in the Roosevelts. So all of the programs that you have available to watch are here. What's really cool about this system, though, isn't that, because that's very common for pay TV set-top boxes. What's great about this is that we've implemented something called the RView Alliance interface. And RView Alliance, it's an industry standard, and it allows this box to connect on the home network with any other consumer electronics devices in the home, in particular TVs. And so what we have here is a couple of TVs that are connected to this box over an IP network. In this case, it happens to be what we call MoCA, which is IP over coaxial cable standard, but it can also be done with wireless. DIRECTV is offering wireless connections to our customers today. Or if you happen to be somebody who has an Ethernet everywhere in your house, then it works over that as well. So we'll start over here with a Sony TV. So Sony is a member of the RView Alliance. They've implemented this in their televisions. This is a high-definition TV from 2013. So remember I mentioned this box came out in 2012. The first TVs came out from Samsung in 2012 as well. Sony quickly followed with TVs. And this year we have LG, Toshiba coming on with RView-based televisions as well. So what's really cool about this is that, let's get some TV viewing going on here. It's gone to sleep.
Maybe you should turn it off and then on, and then we can see
how I'll do that.
How you start the interface.
Yeah, so I just turned the TV off and on again. And so when it comes up, the TV is going to look to see if there's any RView servers in the house. It's going to, just like you see how it says connecting to RView server, just like most TV designs, it'll come up on the sort of the last tuned input, the last tuned channel. And so it's doing the same thing in this case. The TV's being turned on, it's discovering the RView server, unless something's happened since we were, since the last demonstration. Hopefully the TV viewing starts up again. Okay, so here we are. Oh, we just happen to have the satellite dish is not getting all of the satellites. So this happens to be on a channel that it's not getting right now. So let me just move off of that. What's the station number here in Washington, D.C., like a local channel? 4? Okay, so they tune 4. And so this Sony TV does not have any DIRECTV anything built into it. It's not running a DIRECTV app. There's no DIRECTV engineering technology in this whatsoever. It's an RView interface. They went and they implemented that protocol. They then had it certified through the industry industry standard RV Alliance's certification process, and now it connects to the DirecTV Genie box and is able to essentially reproduce the entire DirecTV experience on the TV without ever having to do an integration with us. And so I can bring up the list, and what's happening when I do that? I press the list button. That message then gets sent over the network back to the DirecTV box. The DirecTV box then decides what screens, graphics need to be sent over to the TV, sends them over to the TV, and the TV is rendering those screens and graphics. So it's a remote user interface. This is a technology that's been enabled by the fact that home networking is so good these days. In the last 10 years, home networking has become something that's just very robust, high bandwidth, and works consistently. The other thing is that the graphics capability of consumer electronics devices across the board has improved immensely in the last decade. And so we can rely on that TV to have the connectivity and graphics capability to present the DirecTV experience over here. And so it's exactly the same. Programs are available over here to watch. It's the same look and feel everywhere in the house. Even though there isn't a DirecTV set-top box here at the house, the customer's enjoying that same navigation everywhere in the house. What else can I say about this Sony TV? I think that's it. Let me jump over to another TV from another manufacturer who went and had their TV certified by the RV Alliance as well. What's cool about this TV is that this is a 2014 Samsung Ultra HD 4K TV. So this is able to support the new 4K services. And so you might ask, Steve, how is it possible that DirecTV with a box made in 2012 is able to deliver 4K Ultra HD services to this TV? The reason we're able to do it is because of this RVU industry standard interface. This box here doesn't have to know how to decode Ultra HD television. The TV is the only thing that needs to know how to do it. So from the satellite, we can deliver 4K programs, and we have a few just little preview things here. They can be delivered to the Genie box. The Genie box then, using the same RVU protocol, is able to stream 4K content to this TV. So we're going to go down and pick this program called Preview 4K. We're going to start it from the beginning. And what you have then here is an ability to start enjoying without having to call DirecTV and say, oh, can you bring me a new set-top box? Can you roll a truck? Anything like that. They're able to start enjoying Ultra HD services just by going down to Best Buy and buying that Samsung TV and bringing it home and connecting it up. A fantastic opportunity for consumer electronics companies and service operators to work together and launch new services. So and that's again made available by the fact that we're allowing the TV to do the heavy lifting of decoding Ultra HD. And you guys may have heard about this new additional capability called HDR, High Dynamic Range content. Same story. When the HDR TVs become available, we'll be able to do the same thing, deliver HDR Ultra HD content to these TVs, and you can watch pretty pictures of sea anemones and fish to your heart's content with your service provider with DirecTV content. What else did I want to talk about? Oh, our apps. So in addition to having this capability with the Genie, we also have a complement of apps that run on a variety of devices. We have here an iPad app and as well as an Android app. And is Mohammed? He's here. Great. Okay, take it away, Mohammed. You just started using this today.
Started using it. First thing from us, we want to show that it has the full remote that you would on that little hardware device. So you have that same remote right on the app. You can control your TV from the app. You can control any of the TVs that you have in the same network. So just by going up top over here, you can select whether you want to control the Sony TV, or the main TV over here, or the 4K TV. Let's go ahead and play with this one right here in the middle. And then from there you can go to your playlist that has all your DVR content and stuff that you watched recently. All you do is just tap on it and hit play once it starts. And watch. And you can resume. And boom, change directly over here. And then you also have your TV guide and a couple search options built right into the app. And then also enables you to watch some of the TV shows directly on the iPad itself. Some of the TV content that's available on here. So TV shows, there's an option between watching it, you can watch it on the TV or you can watch it directly on the tablet itself. just by once you hit the watch option right here, the 2 watch options shows up. Other than that, you're able to do the same thing, control all 3 of the TVs seamlessly without having to go away.
So it looks like you've abstracted the control of the stream from the user interface, right? That is to say, you're controlling the video that's going to that device from a different UI, right, on your own tablet.
That's absolutely correct.
Right.
Yeah. And
But
so,
what's the control protocol you use for that?
So that protocol is called Chef. It was published by DIRECTV years ago. The reason why we invented it and gave that control to CE providers was because DIRECTV is very big in the home theater industry. We have 90+% market share of home theater customers across the country. And there is a whole ecosystem of CE companies. Right. If anybody goes to the CEDIA event every year, you know what this is. And they're system integrators,
right.
and they like developing cool new remote apps and all kinds of ways to manage your viewing at your home theater.
Right.
So we knew early on that we wanted to expose control of the set-top boxes to everybody by publishing that specification, and we extended that specification so that it works with all of the RView interfaces as well.
Is that spec part of the RView Alliance or a different spec?
They're just 2 things that are out there independent. So DIRECTV publishes the Chef spec, and so it's not an industry standard. It's just this is how you control our boxes. RView is an industry standard. People have sort of speculated about, well, how could you use both of those together to implement a third-party UI over DIRECTV? And the answer is it'd be trivial. It's, all the tools are already available, and it just stems from, I think, DIRECTV's long history of wanting to partner with CE companies and make sure that our services work as well as possible with their devices.
It'd be great if you could send the spec for that to at least the working group 4 members. I don't think it's on the list.
Or you could Google DIRECTV SHEF.
SHEF. Okay, that's the key.
And you all have it.
Great.
So it's even simpler.
Right. Because I think, again, it's not that complicated a problem. So it sounds like you've exposed the metadata. Does that include all the metadata exposure for
It tells you
VOD?
It'll tell you what
is available to you.
Currently tuned. It'll give you feedback on your currently tuned, so that you know you're on the right channel.
Right.
For example.
But does it also? Do you expose?
It doesn't do a dump of. It doesn't dump.
Okay.
The
Chef does not.
There isn't a dump of sort of the guide or anything like that via Chef.
Okay.
In that case, the third-party device would be expected to create its own guide from its own sources.
Yeah, sure.
And then integrate that, and then have that control.
Gotcha.
Be with the device. Yeah. So I think a very important for DIRECTV feature of remote user interface is that when we decide we want to launch a new capability, let's say, for example, a new feature that allows somebody to be controlling their TV watching with the app in the home, you pause that TV watching and then leave the house and continue on that device. That requires an integration between the TV viewing session and what's happening on the app. That's something that we can launch and have it work on every TV in the house immediately as soon as we have that service available. So we can change our UI, add features, and the whole house sees that benefit immediately. Every room in the house, customers are able to enjoy a consistent experience that also helps us with our customer service features. And I just can't emphasize enough this idea of being able to roll out a 4K service without having to have invented a new set-top box, deliver new equipment to the customer is just phenomenal.
And use DTCP to protect it.
The last group asked that question too. It's really interesting. I guess so. Yes,
we are engineers.
We protect the content. Is all DTCP/IP streams, and yes, we are delivering 4K content from everybody using DTCP/IP.
Right, and DTCP is because you're doing that. Obviously, your programming agreements support that as an approved output.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, there are a lot more details.
Yeah.
Than that.
Yep.
And I can't say more than that. But yes, absolutely. And right, the availability of the content on that TV is thanks to the RView Alliance implementation, which includes DTCP/IP compliance. So when a TV is put through an RView certification, the RUI protocol, covering the right media formats, and content protection are all part of that.
Right.
Of that. That
Did you do something extra for 4K content on the Samsung TV, or did Samsung have to do something special?
You say do something special. What do you mean?
Additional security, hardware and drugs, the existing RU spec.
Yeah. Well,
Covered
if
4K.
you want to have a deeper discussion about that, we can. But this is straight DTC VIP without any.
Well, that's from here to here, not from the satellite to that.
Yeah. It's
There's
protected.
a hardware root of trust in there.
Yes, it's protected by the DirecTV conditional access
Right.
to this box, and it's streaming from this box in the home environment for that.
Yeah, but if we wanted to see things other than those little fluffy demos of 4K, would that be allowed in the studios?
Like movies from major studios?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In that
Yes.
TV?
Yes, notwithstanding Movie Labs documents. Yeah. So let's talk about other things, I think.
What's the data rate that you have on the 4K service?
I'm sorry?
The data rate.
Oh, that's not something that we talk about. The TV is doing an HEVCD code, and the data rate depends from one moment to the next on the difficulty of the programming. It's not constant bit rate, so its variable bit rate can be anything.
How does a consumer get 4K content if they don't have an RView TV?
Well, if they don't have an RView TV, then they will see messages like I think that this one brings. If you connect it just via the classic old HDMI connection, and you come down and you pick this programming, and you hit play, you'll get a message from DirecTV that says this TV does not support.
No, I meant if they have a 4K TV that is not in the RView. Are there 4K TVs that are not part of the RView line?
Sure.
Sure.
That's
Well,
what I was
hopefully
asking.
hopefully the manufacturers of those TVs think about putting in an RView
Can they do it-
interface so that they can work.
Can they do it retroactively for a TV in the field?
That's you'd have to ask the TV manufacturers that.
I guess I was wondering, does DirecTV have any way of providing 4K to a 4K TV absent RView?
So we are working on a thin client that will have the 4K output capability on it. It'll be out later this year, and so that would support a TV manufacturer who doesn't put the RView capability in it. That client is designed so that it will, when it's plugged into the TV, it'll recognize whether or not the TV can support RView already, in which case we can save ourselves some money of deploying that thin client to the TV.
Does the consumer charge for that kind of thing?
That's completely a business decision. It's not technology dependent at all. Any other questions? No, I think hand it over to Joe.
What we want to demonstrate is what TiVo provides, and what we think is important for the DSTAC is that consumers get one more choice, namely choice in that experience for their video viewing. As was mentioned, in the RView technology, the television, the consumer electronics device really is what we call dumb glass. It gets the bits and the graphics all from DirecTV. It gets the user experience from DirecTV. And my iPad app is from them as well. So what TiVo offers is an alternative that provides a number of advantages, one of them being this experience when I switch from DirecTV to Comcast, I still have a TV experience. Would be possible if extended to satellite. So I have something that is now mine and a unique experience across service providers.
And Joe, it's also an important issue if the user buys the equipment, they presumably don't want the equipment to be useless when they switch providers, right?
Exactly. So why it's important as part of the DSTAC and the FCC mandate in general is that we have this portability through ability to purchase something and have confidence that I can use it. And more importantly, that experience I have. We have our iPad application. We have other applications. We have the satellite set-top boxes that make this experience. And people should have that choice. And when they have that choice, they should be able to continue it when they choose different service providers. So as you said, that's one of the benefits. But also because we are independent and have this independent user experience, we can combine lots of different video experiences through different technical models. And so when I'm watching television to a TiVo user, in this device, it's a digital cable and hybrid IP set-top box, meaning my accesses to Comcast or whoever my cable provider's linear titles, in this case, includes Comcast Xfinity On Demand, Netflix, Amazon, Vudu, YouTube. All of these are wrapped into that single experience, which is unique because, again, we're independent of a service provider who may find some of these competitive or who would disable some of these, not all of them. And also, as a user, I have that ability to add these services and have an integrated experience. So again, as we said, unlike some of the models that has been claimed as choice, where I could launch any one of these applications, what we believe is a better value and how we're unique today is I can wrap all of those in a single user experience. So some of how that works. It's a TiVo. You're used to the old days in terms of DVR. I could say record a show, and maybe tomorrow night it records one, a week later it records two. But today, because of all the services available through what's called the TiVo One Pass now, I can record a show and I'll have instantly 500 episodes to watch because I can span all of that content through a single application. One example, Anthony Bourdain set it up this morning, and I can go through any of the seasons, go to any episode, and look at my options to watch that. This one indicates it's actually from the cable subscription, so I put it on the hard drive. It's easier access. This one is only available on Amazon, but I can start watching it right now from Amazon. And so I have this choice uniquely and watch any episode over any time from either Netflix or Amazon. And then when I'm done, I go back and I remain within this TiVo user experience. Now, users still have that choice to, say, launch a wall of apps and get that full experience from the subscription models they're paying for. What we find, though, is by having it integrated, it's easier for the consumer. They have a better experience. And as such as well, when I am searching, I'm searching across all of my content choices. When I am getting suggestions and recommendations that are personal to that person, that user, I also get it across this. I don't have any competitive issue of I don't want to recommend this because I'm DirecTV and I don't like Fox this week. Right? And that's how we can, again, offer a better service, we believe, by having an independent user experience. Again, in that search, I can do Big Bang Theory, the most popular B search, and I see all these choices. And if I can go back and ask to watch any one of the episodes over the past 8 years right now. I can ask to quote-unquote record them and have access to them later at any time as they're available on streaming. And again, have that unique ability. As you said, this ecosystem enabled by 3 technologies, the cable card, open APIs to some services, and a downloaded app model that TiVo integrates, applies not just to the single TV at home or DVR, but we extend it, very similar model, to little IP set-top boxes, to apps on other devices too, and you get that same consistent experience across service providers.
Are you aware of any service provider that does this kind of integration? Or does the consumer have to go to TiVo in order to get that kind of over-the-top integration?
Steve mentioned there used to be YouTube integrated with the DirecTV app, and that stopped working.
Yeah, YouTube stopped supporting the API as of last week, and so we had to drop YouTube from our boxes.
I think it's a good example because where TiVo also had the older APIs, but again, our business model was making sure that experience was up to date. We invested in going to the next generation of those YouTube APIs. Right. And again, the user has that choice. If they didn't have that choice, they would lose YouTube.
Right. I should mention.
What's the difference in those APIs?
Well, the earlier API could be disaggregated. So DirecTV, you could search when you did a search on DirecTV, you would get YouTube titles along with all the DirecTV VOD and other DirecTV titles, and so then you could select and just start viewing the YouTube titles straight off of with your DirecTV box. But YouTube chose to force their UI to be displayed whenever you watch. YouTube
Don't think so.
content.
I don't think so. Actually, you might be able to demonstrate that.
So the way we did it, because of we had the same model, the APIs have changed and the look and feel has changed, but we can go again, and I'm sorry, have it in the Explorer. And we deep link into the YouTube app at the point of videos of Anthony Bourdain, Parts Unknown. And so, it's not quite what you say. You still can go deep link. We'll now have the YouTube interstitial, but we'll go right to that content within their application.
Right.
And it's actually saving you a lot of typing.
Yeah.
But it goes into that API.
Is that the YouTube UI?
This is now the YouTube AI, but at the point of that
Sorry,
content.
that's the YouTube UI.
This is their
Okay,
application.
so and you're actually not watching video yet. You're actually having to finish the search, pick the title, and then start viewing it.
I don't think that's true. I think you can actually fire up the thing directly.
In this case, there was more than one
Right.
search result. Therefore, we didn't know. We're not going to presume for the user which one they wanted to see.
You can go directly and initiate playback.
If there had been one selection,
just like Netflix
we
lets
would
you
not
do that.
show just the one slide.
There's other examples. So we have deployments with our Moxie product with Netflix integration, and so there's a few other examples.
Yeah, Netflix does the same thing. You can do that and bring up playback.
That's all pretty good. I guess the other thing.
But we do that in
is
Google
the
Fiber
customer
as well.
does have the option to go directly into YouTube and just stay in YouTube too, right?
Sure.
It has that option. I have the option to go to Netflix and stay in Netflix.
Yeah.
The only guy who can't do that is the app that I would have. So, part of this is customer choice means if you're going to in a competitive world, everybody should have. I just want to be an app like Netflix.
Well, no, hang on though. I don't think it's to say that the only app that couldn't do that is yours, right? I think you'd be free to make an application. I don't see any reason to restrict the availability of an application from a service provider.
If that's where this goes.
But but for instance, like when we made a YouTube application, we also deep linked to YouTube on the Fire TV. But Google is free to make a YouTube application. There are actually, I think, 4 or 5 in the Amazon App Store for different ways of sort of viewing and experiencing YouTube that are not produced by Google. But
I can be an app just like Netflix.
in addition to
If we had access to the APIs without the X1 user experience, that would be the model we're talking about.
Right.
That is not what you're saying in terms of an app like Netflix.
Right.
Again, as we demonstrated, I did not go to the top of Netflix and go search for something.
Right.
I played it, and I would love to have that across Sling and DirecTV, and I think that's hopefully what DSTAC can help us do. Is users should have the choice. You're right. We think it's important that users be able to launch the top. What if there's something only on your app that not yet exposed through APIs? We don't want to deny them that possibility. But we also, conversely, don't want to deny them a unique user experience that can remain theirs as they move across service providers. And by having just your app, the only mandate is it must launch from the top, that is not a consumer
But you want to
choice.
understand, why do you think you should be able to be the one that decides how to present somebody else's service? I don't understand.
This is about consumer retail choice. It's not we get to decide what they want. Mercedes decides to use Pirelli tires, but not some other tire. That's not. We're forcing them to use Pirelli tires.
The analogy that I always think about is if I want to get navigation search results, I don't want to look at somebody else's UI. I don't have that choice. I don't have the choice of stripping out advertising and whatnot, right? So I understand why that's a natural conclusion here.
Well, I think the other thing is we continually be painted as not wanting to be part of a bigger UI. Right now, in a Samsung TV, you click on my app, and I'm in the apps. There's a bigger UI in there. And so to me, if what you're saying is
That's
the
a-
X1 app could be, the customer could go in there and have the full X1 experience by his own choice, then that's something we should be talking about.
One of the things we find with our TV product in Google Fiber is, for a variety of reasons, consumers still navigate through the EPG for linear content. In fact, what we do is we try and take over-the-top data and integrate it into the guide so that we blend it at that level. But if you basically do not allow users to have an integrated guide, our experience, at least in terms of how users who have the ability to go through VOD and the rest, for linear TV, people are used to operating through that kind of guide interface, even though we make search really, really easy. That's still the dominant mechanism. Whereas in over-the-top services, search is the dominant mechanism. There's not an EPG.
As the world moves more and more and more and more and more to on-demand, discovery is going to be more important than the stream itself.
I agree, but I have the stats. I'm sure you do for your users, how they navigate. So
to get back to the perspective of only app, right? From a human-computer interface perspective, there's a big cognitive load boundary at the app boundary that is akin to switching input like HDMI 1, HDMI 2.
Exactly.
Whereas sort of the fluid navigation that's being exhibited here presents much lower cognitive load for the user and effectively the customer.
And that's, again, the benefit to the consumer and that choice. I mean, if they want a wall of apps and launch them, that's an option for them. But have that ability, again, the cognitive load to have this lean-back experience and watch this. I don't have to load YouTube or put in my Chromecast stick and switch HDMI inputs.
Right.
I have one place to do that as an option.
Right.
And that consumer value. And also in terms of that search and recommendation, which, as you said, in an on-demand world become critical, consumers, again, should have that choice. I'm not going to launch an app, search there. Oh, it's not there. I'm going to go out and launch another app and search there.
I think it comes down to choice. And so the question is, if I'm running a business, it's kind of my choice if I want to be the low cognitive load or my own experience. I mean,
I'm not sure
why is it mandated that it be open like that? I just don't get that.
Well, and it also sounds like universal search is a much more important product to you than where that actual stream comes from.
Well, but search is just one innovation among many, right? And what I think we're trying to facilitate is possible innovations that we don't have on the table right now, right? From a navigation perspective.
But I think it is true that if you had really universal search, you could take that search and morph it into different kinds of guides, right? You could take that metadata.
Depending on how it's implemented,
search,
right? If it's purely federated search on a query
no,
only, it wouldn't work.
No,
right?
that wouldn't work.
Yeah.
But if you could take the things into piece parts and integrate an EPG yourself, if that's be able to go into a stream at any point simply, then I think, you could do it that way.
And I think it's beyond search. It's an innovation and things that we know we're working on in terms of predictive, that this is going to change the channel for me because it knows what I want to do next. Whatever it is, or it's the mind control TV. I mean, I don't have to type in what mood I'm in, it knows.
I think
we don't know. But.
I think the question is also, why would anybody buy a retail box if all they wanted was the same user interface that a leased box, which they don't have to pay for up front?
If they wanted to display Ultra HD, for example.
Well, I mean,
Or it has a 27 terabyte drive in it. I mean, there's all kinds of ways to compete.
Well, and that came up with this demo question here. They had one TV that had RVU and the other had RVU, and both had a wall of apps for Netflix. And they said, well, what's the differentiation? And I'm sorry, but the only answer was this remote control lights up at night or something.
Yeah.
How do you compete necessarily? That's your innovation across video services.
People I know who buy TiVos buy it because they have this UI. They like that. That's the reason for TiVo's existence, that they have a different mechanism. And I think there's a lesson to be learned from all of the cable card implementations that are third parties, whether it's the Windows Media Center or this or some of the other cable card driven DVR systems, are all have different user interfaces. It's the only reason people buy them.
I think they're also buying it because they have a selection of apps, which is fantastic.
Which was developed through commercial arrangements
Fantastic.
to make that happen.
I mean, that's
right?
the only place you can
Well,
find
hang on,
it.
the purchase of TiVo cable card boxes precedes the presence of these applications.
Exactly.
Historically.
Question for you. I have a TiVo at home. I've had it for about 4 years. Last month I got a notice that I can't get anything new from Amazon or Netflix on there. Can you explain what that's all about?
I'd have to know what model you're at. It's always funny when I make a
Codec
presentation and someone always asks, can you fix my TiVo? So, probably not the right forum.
That raises another question
Well,
too. What
I
kind
actually got a
of
message that says that TiVo stopped supporting these two things.
Sounds like you have an older box. Yeah. More than 40 years.
Yeah, but what kind of customer service or support does it have? Because, like, if I have a DirecTV customer, they can call 24/7, there's 1,000 agents. If the box is an older box, it doesn't support our newer services, we will update them with a newer box or prospectively go forward because we have that continuing relationship with them. Do you have a similar type of thing to support your customer choice?
We have exactly the same in terms of these are our subscribers and our customers, and we have support. We also have to know when to not support older devices, the same as you have. If the customer calls and says my old box, we can offer them a new box. It's the same relationship. In fact, if you were to look at the number of TiVo subscribers, we're like the 10th largest service provider in the U.S., below some cable operators.
Yeah,
So
let's not confuse the fact that you charge monthly and we charge to buy a box. Right? You're suggesting that, it's a big problem because I've had this box for a bunch of years and now it doesn't get the same functionality. Well, then you buy a new box.
Well, we don't. We upgrade our boxes and do things along those lines to ensure
Right, but
that
you
our
choose-
services are continually available because our customers are buying the whole set of services. Where we've had a problem where if they bought other boxes and those boxes aren't updated, they come complain to us and we have to replace the box to ensure that they get their continual array of services. So that's out of our pocket because they're frustrated and they'll then want to leave DirecTV because they can't get the services on an ongoing basis. Whereas you
So
may
it's a
not have the
different
same incentive to
Well-
upgrade their box to ensure that they get the DirecTV.
CE vendors are used to dealing with this, right?
oh, they put a third-party telephone on my
It's not
line.
Carter
It doesn't
phone.
work.
No,
It doesn't record.
Excuse me,
Just
just
caller
for a
ID
point of
doesn't
reference,
display.
this is not Carter phone. We do not sell transit. We do not sell a way of getting video. We buy video, we develop interactive services, we sell that whole product to our customers. Our satellite is one means, because we also use broadband, of delivering that to our product. This is not Carter phone, we're not selling
We also-
dial tone.
we
Outside of
We also
Washington,
don't build.
a consumer doesn't know that distinction.
We don't.
Yes, they do.
We don't own the development. I buy my boxes from him. I don't make them myself or force people.
Yeah.
So I have a bill, I'm a Comcast subscriber, I get charged by Comcast every month. I don't have the Comcast UI. Do I have cable service? Do I have Comcast service? I believe I do.
Mhm.
That's what I get billed for.
Well,
Well,
Stop
you're not
paying
getting
that
everything that you're getting billed for.
That's true.
Yeah.
Because you're,
But I'm
But-
getting
but you're
something.
taking
But I-
away
he's
from
choosing
the
to
box.
customer.
But-
That's my choice.
Yeah.
That's what this is about.
Well,
I have the choice.
informed choice.
Yeah.
It's informed choice.
I would also say not all operators have the same viewpoint. From our perspective at Google, as a linear TV distributor, our view is we're delivering video transport. We are a IP video pipe. That's what we do. We aggregate billing for the programmers, and we deliver them a good experience, but we don't think we have the end, we don't think we know all the answers. So we think being able to deliver video to lots of different devices is a good idea.
So I could
I
put
am
an X.
not-
Could I put an X1 box in Kansas City?
We would love to have you, if you wanted to go work with us, and we'd be happy to give you the interface specs for taking the
It's
video.
interesting too. I saw an article recently with another Google executive who runs the Amazon, the Android platform for TV, saying how important it is for all providers to be able to have their UI on that device. It was a good article. We ought to get it for everybody.
And for the record, I'm not.
So
saying
he
we
had a
don't-
lot of respect for the service provider's UI being part of that.
There's no question. I don't think anybody has an issue with having the service provider's UI if a service provider chooses to have one
Okay.
on a device. The question is that the only way
No,
of getting
I
access
totally
to it,
agree.
right? So I think the question is, do consumers get to choose, right? Their video service
Right
and
now,
their
going
customer
into
experience.
Netflix and got into Netflix, I could stay in Netflix for as long as I wanted.
Sure.
I could stay there forever. But I can't, there is no service provider UI that you can get in there if you wanted to and stay forever. So I think that's, if you're agreeing with that concept, then I think
I don't think anybody.
maybe we're closer to figuring some of this out. To me, this isn't about UIs anyway. It should be about security, which is what we're brought here for. Anyhow.
So watch it. If we have a quorum in here, I don't think we can.
Oh yeah, we can't. That's true. Can't talk about that.